Welcome to the Living Room Conversation podcast, where education meets fun through deep, meaningful conversations around relationship, mental health, career challenges, or simply finding joy in everyday life.
Our podcast gives you valuable insights, practical tips, and laughter along the way. I'm your host, Tosha,
and I'm Mia.
Get comfy, grab a drink or snack, and join us in the conversation. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Living Room Conversation. I am your host, Tosha.
And I'm Mia.
And we're back with another episode.
Yes.
I'm super excited because, we got a special guest tonight. And this person is definitely great in the community. So I'm super excited. How was your day, Mia?
It was good. I've been just taking control of my mental health, trying to change the things that I can. And so this is day 3 in the gym.
So I'm so proud of you. Because I can't never go into the gym.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that routine, but it's like when you get up, like you dread, like,
Well, I had somebody going with me. They called me like, hey, you went to the gym this morning.
Right.
So, accountability, having an accountability partner, somebody that you can do it with, definitely makes it easier.
I think that's very important because I feel like I need accountability partner, but I went to a PT today, and for my back, and that was physical therapy. I mean, that was definitely like a workout for me because she had me on a ball. I had to do legs. She was rolling my back. I'm like, baby, by the time I leave here, my stomach gonna be snatched.
No, for real. That's how I felt. Like literally, like today, I can laugh and it not hurt.
Yeah.
I was like yesterday, I'm like, oh, don't make me laugh. Like it was like on fire. So.
Like, was you really sore the next day?
Yeah, I'm still sore. But no pain, no gain.
So our guest is here. So our special guest, because I know y'all been waiting. This person has been a big influence in my life. He has encouraged me to do so much, especially when it comes to my business, and I definitely respect him, and I felt like we should bring him to the platform. So with further ado, welcome our special guest, Devoe Sherman. I wish we had one of them things.
Like, some special sound effects.
Hey. Yes. Welcome to the living room. Yes. Whoa. Uh-oh. He already got phone calls.
Right.
So what's up, Devoe? I'm so happy that you was able to make it to the living room today.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, thank you for coming.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Already.
So I made that phone call. I'm like, hey, can you do the Living Room Conversation podcast? And the first thing he said was, of course. So I was like, my man. Talking about support.
Yeah.
Like, did you see that video that Boo Man made with Kelly Ford? And he had a shirt, #support.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so that's what it's all about. It's literally all about, like, supporting, like, Black businesses, supporting the Black community.
For sure.
And, like, I love when people are able to do things, without a cost or without it being too much, and Devoe definitely came through. So I really appreciate it. So tell me a little bit about you. Like, my audience don't know, for the ones that don't know who you is, introduce yourself and tell them, like, the things that you have done in the community.
Yeah, I'll just be brief. Devoe Sherman, got a PhD. Means I was poor, hungry, and determined. And poor just meaning like, not like just financial, but mentally, like poor, not knowing how to, know about, taxes, opportunity, business, entrepreneurship, budgeting, those different types of things. Knowing about just self-care, personal development. So when I say poor, I mean just passing over opportunities repeatedly. And then we go into the phase of, just being hungry. Like I had that hunger, it was just always just within me. And I remember graduating from Forward High School, and I feel like God gave me my vision and pictures for what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I think it was just more so like, look, everything that you've been through in your life, you're going to go back and mentor these at-risk kids that was struggling that kind of have the same experiences that you had. So, but I had to have the determination in order to come out of these situations of, you know, being financially, you know, distraught, distressed, and being in an environment to where you really couldn't thrive. I mean, you really had to really survive and kind of use different tactics to kind of just navigate. And you had to defend yourself. So it was just a lot of things that I experienced just within my own life. You know, just coming out the gate, coming out the womb. You know, mom had me at 14, so it was just like, hey, you just got to be ready for you know whatever may come my way. And I think that's just says you know who I am, and it's just a lot of stuff that I've been able to do. You know, on a personal level, being in a position to help people, give my time away, give my resources, and you know, it's just been a blessing so far.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That definitely is. It made me think like what mental struggles did you have, like what things did you have to like overcome, you know, by having a young mother, because I was a teenage mother. I had my son when I was 17, you know, and he's 21 now, and I'm like amazed at, you know, just his wisdom and things like that. But you know, I know that sometimes, you know, I mean, I was still a kid, you know, so that's like just different layers. Like you got your environmental things, and, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, you know, going to be challenges. I think when we talk about mental health, when we talk about trauma, PTSD, I think that's all has always been ingrained in us, you know, just in our DNA, just because of, you know, what we, you know, been through.
Right.
And for me, the challenges has always been, you know, holding in that resentment, you know, towards, you know, everyone. You know, why am I in this position? You know, you got to ask yourself, why am I in this position? What did I do to be here in this environment? Like, I didn't ask to be here, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, well, you here. And then you start to ask yourself, like, okay, are you going to keep complaining about it? Or are you actually going to do something about it? And for me, it was graduating. It was going to UC, studying political science and liberal arts. It was doing all these different, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, I'm just like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I just told myself, like, look, I'm not going to be the statistics, you know, the typical traditional thing. Like, I'm going to be unconventional. I'm going to be, you know, unconditional with how I do things.
Absolutely.
And for me, that's just what it's always been, unapologetically me.
Yeah.
You know?
Love it.
That's really dope.
Yeah,
so it sounds like that's where like your drive and your passion came from.
Yeah.
Just you know, coming from you know, poverty, and you had to deal with, you know, the odds against you. So what made you go into the schools and start pouring into the children?
So it was funny. So when I first went in, I definitely went in like this, right? You know what I mean? Like, I definitely went in like that, but I had to tell myself, like, nah, you gotta have a different strategy. You learn when you start doing that. You start talking all this black stuff. And I had the little Kango hat and everything.
You came in there.
I was so like, cause I was just overly passionate, you know, about just the movements and the history, and it was just
a
like
revolutionary.
Like power. Cause it was just that's just, you know, watching those movies and you hear all the stories of like, you know, the true history and the really like the meaning of it. It was just like, man, I wanna do what the Black Panthers did. I wanna do what they did, type of thing. But it was just like, nah, like you in a public school setting, you can't do stuff like that. Like, nah, chill out, bro. These kids ain't know that type of time. Like, you know what I mean? So, but for me, it was just like, all right, let me figure out a different way to reach these kids. And as I started to really think about it, I started like getting creative, and I started doing like different activities to where they can understand themselves. Like, I do an activity called, you know, show yourself.
Okay.
You know, and it's called show yourself, but it's really called like revealing one's identity. And what happens is there's a self manifestation, there's a self identification to where, like, after you go through the activity, you understand who you are. You understand, like for instance, like they may write down color. Okay, why you like that color? You know what I'm saying? Why you like red? Why you like blue? Like, what is it about that specific color?
Yeah.
Why you like that specific animal? Why you like that car?
I
You know
love
what I mean?
it.
It's just like
Yes.
just asking them like really challenging questions, because when you ask somebody that, it's just like they really just don't know.
The critical thinking.
Yeah,
I think they try to take that away from our children, like in the system. And even how you said, like how you came in and, you know, on some revolutionary stuff.
Yeah.
And it made me think, like, you know, because kids, they do love to have something to really stand for, you know. And I mean, it's gangs and it's all these different, you know, things that they draw to because they want that family. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what could make these kids come together, you know, to want to, like, push the, you know, the community forward. Yeah. Like, because they are, like, they're vital to our success, you know? Like, when we older, they're going to be the ones.
That's kind of where it starts. It starts when they're younger. And unfortunately, they have been indoctrinated at a very young age and been programmed to think a certain way, act a certain way. And, you know, I wouldn't say all public schools, but, you know, they're underserved. So they don't have the resources that other schools have.
Yeah.
And so, and then they don't have parents at home pouring into them. Yeah. So they take that same behavior and take it to school, and that's where the bullying starts. That's where you know, a lot of mental illness starts at a very young age. And then when they do recognize, well, one, let me say this, they're putting all these titles on children. They got ADHD, they have this, they have that, you know, and then they want to give them medicine, because from my personal story, I have a daughter that has been diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety disorder, and I'm not afraid to talk about that. But I don't look at that as a mental illness. I look at that as a gift. But I'm one of them type parents that pour into my daughter that don't make her feel like she has to be on Adderalls or be on these type of medicines for her to function in school, right? And some of the children don't have a choice. So they're have Adderall, they have this ADHD medicine, and then that's where a lot of, and then they're not nurtured kids. And so this is where this mental health stuff is starting from children. So I feel like that is really the biggest problem that I guess the Black community face, because we are a victim to our environment. And so that's why you got adults, men, women walking around not knowing their worth, or walking around not really having a direction, so they become a menace to society. They go to jail and they do all these different, you know, crimes, and then they don't have a future. And I feel like it's a generational thing. And so I really feel like it starts with our youth. And for Devoe to be able to go into the schools and pour into these children, you know, and, you know, I do mentorship with you when it comes to like the high schoolers, Purcell Marion, and just seeing the young ladies really wanting that influence around them. You know, I feel like it really starts with our children, and it really starts with where the mental health problem, you know, stems from. So why do you think that Black people feel like they gotta be superheroes? That's what's something I really want to know.
You know, we all want to be, you know, celebrated, not tolerated. And I think that's the thing, like from every if you think about it from a media standpoint, right? There hasn't been a lot of, you know, leadership, sort of say, when it comes to just being Black in itself. I think now with people having their own outlets, it's starting to like shine light on different people, because people have podcasts now. People have, you know, they're getting deals to where they're actually creating this content and it's shining the light. So I think it's great for us to, you know, be looked at as superheroes, because at the end of the day, the light has just been very dim, and it's been very negative, and it's been, you know, and these, whoever they may be, has made it to where there's a negative stereotype, even with us, you know. And I'll even tell you, like, even with when because I got a consulting business on the side. So even when I'm consulting with people, a lot of people are like, you know, I feel like they're inferior, you know, to my confidence, just who I am. And it's just like, before they can say anything, I'm like, look, I already know you don't trust me. You know what I mean? Like that's the first thing. Like I know you don't trust me. You know what I'm saying? Let's just start. They like, whoa, for real? Like, yeah, like no, it's and
But you pick up that energy.
Yeah, like you feel what I'm saying? I get it. I'm black. I'm young. Whatever. But it's just like at the end of the day, like I feel it because I'm telling you, every single body that I've ever encountered, that's always been like the number one thing, like just the trusting part. So when I break that ice and let them know, like, nah, this is, you feel me? Nah, this is what we do. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Like you can look me up on Google and see like I ain't nothing to play with.
So you feel like that's like your biggest challenge with the work you do is just having people's trust.
It's just the trust. It's just between somebody that look like me. That'd be the biggest thing. It's just the trusting factor because again, the media and then just when you see visuals of how people are, like media is just so very important. Yeah. Like when you could characterize somebody, like visually characterize somebody and see them in action, and then you have all these other media outlets that are kind of dimming somebody's light. Eventually, you're gonna consume that and believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like people's perception is really reality.
It's like programming.
Right.
So is it more so like with the adults, or is it like the children as well that you?
It's more so that the children are easy to break.
Yeah. So what do you feel like your biggest challenge with them is?
With the adults?
With the children.
With the children, children are very easy. Like I can go in a room and just talk to kids. We just have a nap. This how I just did with, you know what I mean? Like we just have a natural conversation. Like, and once they see that you engage and you pay attention, like they want all the energy and love and attention and affection and all that. So, and I think kids feel that energy. So that's why I'm able to, like, for instance, I mean, I just got an award in North Avondale just for changing. I mean, like just doing what I do, changing kids' lives. You know, took one of the baddest kids. And now he's, ABC honor roll. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like stuff like that. To me, it's just easy. It's not like it's hard work. It's just natural. It's just a natural thing. But with adults, it's kind of like you got to break down those barriers, break down those boundaries, and you just got to let them know up front, hey, this ain't that.
Right. Yeah, but it's funny because it's still their inner child that's like not trusting you, but it's the adult version of them. So
and what's crazy is I really understand it because at the end of the day, you have to protect your energy. You know what I mean? Like you have to protect, because my thing is, and I get it, like some people have really been hurt and traumatized. Like you go through these programs and next thing you know, you don't come out with nothing and you just spend $1,000.
Yeah.
So I feel that hurt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you messing with your boy, it's just different. You know what I mean?
So being protected and being closed off are two different things. Like you can be open and be protected, but being closed off, it's like you protect yourself from the world, but you also kind of like protect yourself from you too, in a sense.
Absolutely. So I have a different take on why Black people want to be heroes, right? Because I think that naturally we're heroes, right? We can be anything we want to be in the world, right? But we want to save everybody. So when I think of heroes, I think of it in a positive way, but I feel like sometimes we need to will it back and not be everybody's hero because we be your own. Shoot. Seriously, be your own. First. Seriously, because I feel like it starts with you. You know what I mean? It's like you can't save everybody. You can't pour into a cup that's empty. Or if you got an empty cup, pour into somebody else's cup because it's not going to work out. You're going to experience depression and you're going to lose yourself and stuff like that. So I feel like the Black community need to stop trying to save everybody because if you can't save yourself, then what you doing it for? And we wear our hearts on our sleeve a lot and we care for people and I get it though, but it's like where do we draw the line when it comes to not always trying to be everyone's hero?
Man, it's a tough one. If you always it's a big difference between enabling versus actually helping somebody as well. And I think for us is we really have to figure out what the difference is. And I think if you are pouring into a lot of people, you know, because somebody told me, like, man, you got multiple cups, like, and you pouring into, it's blowing up. It blew up right before you got it. That's crazy. The whole time it's just.
They're like, oh, we live.
I don't know. Dang, I gotta take your whole phone off. How you put it on? I'm sorry. How do you put it on silent? Yeah.
It's on silent now.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have to tell them you was in the living room conversation.
Okay, all right. You're having some.
So I think the biggest thing is really just understanding, like, again, helping and enabling. That's two different things.
Definitely.
We got to get that understood, and then we have to identify what exactly does it mean. Like, if I'm helping somebody, you know, I feel like helping could be something that's, you know, temporarily, because at the end of the day, you got to help yourself.
You do.
You have to help yourself before you try to go out there and enable somebody. And it's just like, the more you enable somebody, the more they're going to just latch on to you. And like, well, you've been doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you've been doing this from me. Like, why stop now?
Yeah.
And I feel like as adults, sometimes we may do that. You know, sometimes, you know, I feel like that sometimes, like, hey, don't stop making my plate. You've been making my plate. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously. And that's kind of how relationships kind of
right.
too.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you start changing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
so.
but I really, you know, I think that the biggest thing for us is to understand, like, what we doing, how we doing it, and then why we doing it. And I feel like once we understand that, then it opens the door, because now you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And the other part is being aware of, you know what, I am allowing you to enable me. I am allowing you to help me, but here's my reason and why.
Yeah.
So having that conversation to explain, like, what's going on, I feel like just could help just end some of that stuff, because at the end of the day, we all know we're not going to be perfect.
Right.
No,
But at the same time, we could still have that. We can still show love. We can give grace, but we need to have balance with everything that we do at the same time. But at the same time, okay, on the same spectrum, okay, we need to have accountability.
We do. Oh my
You know what I'm
gosh.
saying?
I don't feel like we have enough accountability. I feel like we always blame somebody. It's just something, the white man. They did it. It's just like, no, you
She
did it.
he
You know,
did it.
it's like, we get sick and tired of that.
Yeah.
You know, did he do it? You
Yeah.
know, all that stuff.
Did he do it?
Yeah,
I'm just
listen,
like,
did
I did it.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah,
No.
that's,
Did he do it? So I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
probably did.
I think that's interesting when you talk about accountability, because I was looking up some statistics when it comes to, like, Black mental health, Black millennial mental health, and according to the Blue Cross Blue Shield, Black millennials, they have like a 30 to 60% lower rates than white millennials, which I was surprised about that. But they said that the reason for the difference was because of an underdiagnosis, not an absence of a problem. So they're nobody's really seeking help.
Yeah.
And it's only like 25% that actually are. So, like, you know, maybe 1 in 4 people, right?
Okay.
But which, I mean, is not, you know, bad, but it's like, considering how many people, like, you take a whole room full of people, you know, like a big chunk of those people are not, that, you know, but they said the reasons for that are like lack of understanding of cultural difference, stigma around treatment, and barriers accessing behavioral health specialists. You know, and it was crazy because, like, I had looked up, like, the professional, like, mental health specialists for Black professionals, right? Because I think, like, when we were talking about representation, that matters. You know, a lot of us, like, one, people don't want to even talk to somebody, and then to talk to somebody that you feel like is judging you, got these preconceived notions, stereotypes, different things like that. You know, it makes it, like, less likely for you to even want to go in there being vulnerable to begin with, right? So, like, 2% of psychiatrists are Black in America. 2%.
No way. She dropping some statistics, y'all. So that right there, seriously,
2%.
That's how you do it.
22% Black social workers in this country. 22%.
Wow.
7% marriage and family counselors are Black, and 11% are professional counselors. So, like, when you look at those numbers, it's like, it's I mean, it's low.
It's very concerning.
It definitely is, and I mean, I know, like, being a part of Queens Village, like, we interact with, doulas and mental health professionals and all these things like that. But had it not been for that environment, I'm like, this is the most I've ever been around Black professionals for mental health or anything.
Exactly, and like-minded people. And that's one thing that I have loved about Queens Village is they create that space for us. But unfortunately, there's not enough in America, and I feel like we need a lot more of these spaces because, we need each other. And I'm gonna let you go back to your statistics, but I do want to say something. I feel like it does come with culture too.
Oh yeah,
right. It comes with being segregated from our families for so long because of our history and slavery and stuff. But it's like, I feel like if we come together like the Mexicans or other cultures, I'm gonna say the Mexicans because they have been a big example when it comes to family and what it looks like to have a community.
Yeah.
And it's like
people laugh at them. They smart. You get the older you get, you realize
16 people in one house, and it's like, why you got and people
and they all working.
And they all working. Seriously. But it's because we have been taught to do everything on our own and be separate. And it's like if we work together,
where's the bell? We need the bell.
And come together. I feel like we can definitely really move our community forward. Like, cause those numbers is like ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's very concerning. So. Any more statistics?
So there was just one more, like I said, about the 25%, but so that was from the McLean Hospital, just in case anybody want to look. But yeah, it was about 25%. And then from Columbia Psychiatry, more than 20% of like Black, I guess, millennials are more than likely gonna experience lifelong mental health issues. So like major depressive disorder or generalized anxiety. So like lifelong. So I mean, that's a lot when you consider like the population. And go ahead. And like I said, this is based off of just the people who have maybe participated in certain studies or like this isn't even everybody. Like this is only a portion of people. And so I just think it's it's really interesting because it's like the stigma, like I said, one of the reasons why is because like just how the cultural stuff, the stigma around, oh, you crazy, oh, you don't need to go talk to nobody, like just go pray about it, or and then especially as a Black man, I mean people, it's like you guys. I think you are like, they say the Black woman is like the most unprotected and stuff like that, but I think the Black man is like the most overlooked, in a sense of like, listen, because I'm seeing like just the culture and the history, and it's like, yeah, the Black women, we were the one who were holding things up and stuff like that, but the Black man, that's who we were holding up. So if we were holding him up, obviously he was at a lower position and we were able to tap into our divine strength, and so I know like a lot of people, Black men like crying and different things growing up, your friends tease you and, like, oh, you soft and, stuff like that, and just feeling like you can't be expressive and emotional and
it's tough.
Yeah,
a lot of men deal with that emotional incarceration. And when you, and it's like that, really that space, like if you don't have that space to where you can do that, and if that's the culture, then that's just what it's gonna be.
Right.
So when you said overlooked, like that's a real thing, like definitely overlooked, and a lot of times it's just like, that's why it's little to no resources, just for us, because at the end of the day, again, society says you're a male, you're supposed to be
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Like, what you doing? Like, you don't supposed to do all that. You know what I mean? But it's like, but at the end of the day, you know, like I told myself, at the end of the day, I can be strong, but I can also be emotional. I can have emotional intelligence, and there's nothing wrong with crying.
Yeah,
You know, it's
vulnerable. It's okay with
being
vulnerable,
Being
you know?
strong is
Yeah.
actually like people think that that's
Yeah.
being weak, but it's like it takes strength to like look at the things that are bothering
Yeah,
you,
absolutely.
you know, and hold those things with compassion
it's tough.
and like, you know. So I'm interested, like, you know, because a lot of male and women watch our show. So like, what are things that you do to help with your mental health? To
I
keep
say-
yourself
Good
happy?
Good question.
Yeah. I mean, self-care is always one of the biggest things
Mhm,
that I learned a few years ago
mhm.
that I do. And
So what does that look like?
it's
for
like,
you?
you know, of course, playing basketball, working
Okay,
out.
like basketball.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
look,
yeah.
when we say self-care, some women think pedicure
Yeah,
and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that.
Doing what you love.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nah, definitely. I do the neti and petty
Okay,
stuff for sure. You feel what I'm
great.
saying? I do that. I mean, you know, nails
Men
gotta be
should take
clean.
care of themselves too.
You know, you gotta be clean and well groomed.
Right, it's okay.
Say
Yeah,
it again.
you gotta be clean and well groomed at the end of the day. You know, even getting a haircut, that's
Yeah.
part of the self-care.
Yeah.
And just making sure that at the end of the day that I wash up and I groom myself and I just look good when I come out. Even throwing on my little outfits or whatnot, you know, that's part of the self-care. So it's just really just taking.
Flat.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? You gotta be. You feel what I'm
Right,
saying?
having this stuff on.
Yeah, I gotta put it on. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just do a little 360 or something.
Okay,
You know what I'm
now look at the
saying?
fit. You see.
He be like, you see the shoes. He be like,
Listen,
you see the
enter
shoes.
the selfie era.
Hey, you got to, man. You know, it's all about content nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm checking it
So,
out. I'm checking it. Sorry.
oh no, you
Check
good.
it out.
Nah, you good.
So self-care and
And it also just I was in mental health therapy as well.
okay.
But now I'm going to doing more like life coaching. Like I want to give me a life coach.
Okay.
Just because now I feel like I really didn't need it. Like my therapist said, like you really don't need it. You just need like somebody that can just hold you accountable in a different way. In a different like.
Can I ask you a question? Because when you said therapist, it really triggers something.
Yeah.
So why do you feel like Black men are afraid to get a therapist? Because there's a stigma, right?
Definitely.
In the Black community that if you get a therapist, you're weak, or you know, you're a girl, that's for girls. So like, what made you get a therapist, and how can you encourage Black men to, you know, be okay?
Yeah,
be comfortable with it?
I think so. The only reason I got into it was because my friend is a therapist, and he was telling me like, I'm like, hold on, you a Black therapist? Like, what's going on?
That's what's up.
Like a Black guy? Like you a therapist? Like, yeah, I do. Did this? I'm like, oh snap! Like I was just so shocked because it was unbelievable. Because I never ever, you know, in school you always see, you know, the mayonnaise therapist. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? You always.
I gotta get your lingo, your school lingo. These kids been teaching you too much.
Nah, but it's like you always see those type of people, and it's just like, oh, again, that's that media thing. Like you always see them on TV saying this and saying that. But when I actually seen him, I'm like, oh, snap! Like that's different, bro. Like that. Like, can you be mine? You like
back to representation.
Yeah, like that. And exactly. But I was like, can you be mine? You feel? I just want to try it. He's like, nah. You know, conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So when I was going through the process, I was learning so much, and he was just telling me about it. Like, nah, it ain't what people think.
Yeah.
But I get it. Society is making you think like that's not a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially if your family never did it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Of course, you're not gonna look to that. You feel me? But when I got around him and I started being around other therapists and different, and I just got so many different perspectives. So I'm like, I just jumped in. And that's the thing, like sometimes you just gotta just jump in and see what does it look like for you. Don't worry about what nobody else is thinking and different things like that. Of course, get all the perspectives, do your research and different things. Do all that stuff. Like you feel, but at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you. But what I come to learn is like you don't have to do the traditional based therapy either. Like there's different types of therapy.
It is. You got like spiritual therapists. You have
art therapy, music
therapy,
therapy,
that's
sound
therapy, but stuff like that.
Yeah, plant therapy. Like
yeah,
there's so many different variations of therapy.
I'm so happy you said that.
Because it's not just laying on nobody's couch.
Right.
You're not even laying on no couch.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
See what I'm saying? What I say, media.
It's like programming. It's like it's not therapy can be whatever you
fun
want.
and exciting.
It doesn't have to be like what you see.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so funny.
That's the problem.
That is the problem. But a lot of black men be like, I ain't going to her because I don't want her all up in my business. Or a lot, but people be saying that like I don't want her like. She a stranger. What the fuck she give you? I mean, excuse my language, but like you know, she don't give a f about me. You know, like what she ain't gonna give me the advice I'm looking for. I hear personally a lot of men around me saying that I don't want her in my business. And is that like stem from like mom trauma? You know what I mean when I say like mom trauma, or like even vulnerable and opening up.
You gotta break that barrier.
Or maybe even relationships, you know, and women, you know, using stuff. But when you were talking, like something had came to my mind because a lot of like black people, they'll be proud. Like I was the first one that graduated from college, but like, what about the first one in your family to go to therapy? You know, like.
Hey, no, for real.
Because I mean, I know that education is important, but it seems like we tend to focus on that. Like, oh, if they got this degree, they got this, then they got it together.
Right.
And people be suffering. Like,
suffering. Silence, you know? Yeah. But I think that the biggest thing that we gotta understand and know is like, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. And doing what's best for you is like breaking that silence.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys are going to be protective when it comes to that because, again, they may have been manipulated. They may have been triggered in a way to where it didn't benefit them in the end.
Yeah.
But again, if you're not around, again, the only reason I'm successful with what I do with the therapeutic things is because I was around other people that were kind of doing the same thing that I was doing.
So your tribe matters. Like,
exactly, it is.
And it's like wherever you put your energy at is what's going to, you know, it's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's like you want to surround yourself with positive people that's doing good things. Because I'm telling you, it's like what they say, you are who you hang with. So you got to be careful who you hang with and who you know, give your energy to.
Trauma.
But I want to like spice it up a little bit.
Yeah,
because we've been talking about all things mental health. So, so this is like a quick game that we want to get to know Devoe real quick, a little bit. So we know a little bit about him, but we want to see his fun side, right? We want to see his fun side. So I'm gonna ask you some simple questions, and I want you to answer it within 30 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
So, would you prefer a beach or hiking?
Beach.
Okay. Plane or car?
Plane.
Okay, period. Skydiving or snorkeling?
Skydiving.
Skydiving? Okay. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
See, look. Hey, listen, bro. You checking everything off our list, right? House in the city or in the country?
Country, for sure.
No.
I know, right? I feel you. Hey.
No, it's good. I like the country. All right, so this is the last one. Are you rocking with the Beehive? Are you rocking with the Swifties?
Beehive.
Let me say. Hey, he nailed that. Literally, you said everything that I probably would have picked. So okay, that's that Pisces stuff right there.
Oh, Pisces, March 18th.
March 18th.
It's just you on the same way.
Okay. But speaking of what he was saying, because like that really led to the tip of the day. You know, just like the tribe and all that. So the tip of the day comes from Rita Walker, PhD. And she's the author of Unapologetic, which you said that earlier.
Yeah.
So like my brain was like, but it's like it's the vibe. You feel me? Yeah. So she's the author of the Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health, and this is a quote from that book. It says, "Be careful about how you hide yourself from people who care."
It's
You know,
That's
and
heavy.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
But that's a heavy
yeah.
conversation.
yeah. Be careful how you hide yourself from people who care. And in her book, she helps you navigate an unequal system, learn tools for emotional wellness, and get the help you deserve. You know, so but when I read that, I was like, oh, like because that goes into the suffering in silence, and you know, and you have to really, it's things you have to mentally shift within yourself, like. You know, because you can be feeling a type way, but maybe you feel like you deserve the life you're living, or you know, maybe you feel like, oh, this is too much. Nobody can help me with this. Or,
Right.
You know, like you have to come to a point where you're like, okay, you know, I want to be open. I need help. Like, you know, and sometimes people hit the rock bottom to like realize that, you know, it's like you have to be open and be like, I'm worthy of help. I'm worthy of people caring about me.
Absolutely.
You know, and checking up on me. Like I'm worthy of good people in my life.
Yes, and it's so funny that you said that because we are so afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's like strong isn't, that's not a good thing. It's like I'm just strong. Like what does that mean? You know, I don't want to be strong.
Yeah.
I want to be in a vulnerable state to where like I can vent and not be judged.
Yeah.
I can relax when it's time for me. I can rest, you know. I can be in my femininity at all times, you know. I don't want to be in fight or flight mode all the time, you know.
Right.
And I feel like with women, we are in that, we are so much in our masculine energy that we become unbalanced and we're not able to fully, you know, because I feel like women, we are the creators of everything and we are the leaders. And so when we're not properly leading, it trickles down to the rest of the Black community, but the world, you know what I'm saying?
Because people want to do everything we do.
We're naturally healers. You know, I feel like women, Black women, heal the Black man. And so if we're operating so much into our masculine energy, we're not really able to set an example for the generation that comes, you know, after us. And so I feel like it really starts with us. You know, I feel, you know, because I feel like there's so many women that say, I don't need a nigga. Yes, you do. You need, you know, yes, you do. You need help. You know, you don't want to be like, stop saying that. It's not fun to be a single mother. That stuff is not cute to be proud to be a single mother. I need help because I ain't make this baby by myself. You know,
but that all just like you said, it goes back to, you know, people being strong, not because they want to, because they had to. They have a choice.
They didn't have a choice, absolutely. But you know how it was.
But sometimes it just come from our family. You know, family. It's different reasons why. But like sometimes it's the choices we've made in life.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think it's different reasons. But you know, as I getting older and more mature, I'm like, baby, I don't want to do it all. I know I can, but I don't want to, and I really feel like I can't. Like that's like you said, we wasn't designed like that.
No, we wasn't.
You know, so like but I can put the bookshelf together and you know do
we
all
can, but
things,
if we don't have to,
listen, I'm open to help at this point. It's like
because it's not natural. It's not.
That's how you burn out when you feel like I gotta do this, do that. Like I was looking at a post from like COVID time, and I was like, you know, I had all the kids home, and they did virtual for 2 years.
Oh, girl, baby, listen.
2 years.
It
was like, I mean, I had, you know, like what Molly was like, preschool, but you know, I had all ages, like up to like high school.
Right.
It was a lot, you know. And then on top, I've got to be the principal, the cook, you know, just everything. Like the clean, the clean person, janitor, like you know, the nurse, you know, the teacher, like making sure everybody like, and it was, you know, it's like when kids go to school, sometimes that's a mother's only break.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like mental health, and I think even for the children, like I was, you know, just really interested in talking to my children about their mental health. Like, how did you feel about this time in quarantine? Because I know everybody else, nobody really focused on how the kids,
Yeah, they
you
don't
know,
talk
like,
about
how's
that.
this affecting you guys? Like, because my kids, they kind of did struggle. You know, they didn't.
Mhm.
The teachers that had no control of those classrooms. You know, I was a teacher on the screen crying. Like, she had no control.
They said they don't.
Still don't.
So,
Yeah.
so what do you experience? Because I'm glad you said like still don't. So, like, do you feel like it's a student thing or a teacher thing? Because I really
it's a-
feel like it's a teacher thing. Honestly,
Yeah,
from
no,
my
it's
own
a- it's a-
experience.
it's definitely it's a lot of different variables that come with that, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to think a lot of students, like if you go, I mean, public school wise, there's a lot of kids that are, disadvantaged, low income,
Mm-hmm.
and then again, you got somebody that doesn't represent them,
Absolutely.
and you want me to learn from somebody that don't understand where I come
Where
from.
you come from, don't know
Yeah.
how to
Very
properly
listen.
deal with these
Yeah, you feel what I'm
kids,
saying? So
yeah.
you got
Talk
that,
about it.
and you got
Yeah,
somebody
president
that's
pipeline.
yeah,
Right.
like it's just so many things. But again, when I come in there,
Mm-hmm.
you feel me? Like it's
Mr.
just different.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, you feel me?
Yeah.
Like Howard.
Yeah, but when I come in there, it's just the energy is just different. Like
Yeah.
they listen, like yes sir, no sir, whatever. Like it's just more respectable because at the end of the day, I'm a male and a man, and I demand, my respect. I'm dominant in my
Yeah.
position. So when they see that, it's like, okay, I need to be on my toes. You feel what I'm saying? I need to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
As far as with that teacher, she teaching, but it's
Right.
not her job to train and develop and do all those things. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at it from that angle as well. But at the same time, you should want to do those things because again, you're their teacher. They're with
You
you.
spend
But
a lot of the
time,
time with your kids.
yeah,
really-
that's what. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they are the ones that like train
They're very-
and program
Yeah.
our kids.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
they
do.
do. Yeah, yeah.
it's so crazy.
And they can be very influential, you know.
They can
Very
because my daughter come home all the time about the things her teachers say and they
Mhm.
be sorry because I'll be checking my daughter's teacher. I'm sorry. I have to, but
Yeah.
You gotta advocate.
sometimes you do have to advocate for your
Mhm.
child because like you said, some of them don't come from where we come from
Mhm.
and said they don't understand it. So they look at black kids as very aggressive and
Mhm.
don't got all this energy and they say,
Yeah.
oh, something wrong with this kid. So they want to, refer you over to that. It's just like, no, it's just like, this is part of our culture. This is how we are. We're a
Mhm.
very expressive culture,
Mhm.
and so they don't
Mhm.
understand that. And so they misdiagnose our children.
Yeah,
And then you
all
got
the time.
women that listen to these teachers or they're not in tune with their children.
Yeah, that's
so
what
then
it
they
is.
take the teacher advice and they
Yeah.
go and put their kids on Ritalin and all kinds of stuff and it's unnecessary, and it's really deep, but
Mhm.
we ain't gonna go there.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
here.
We'll
We'll be here all night.
Going in.
So I really in my heart wanted to play this video because I felt like we needed to. I don't know. I made this video when I watched this podcast. So I'm into podcasts. I love to hear motivational things.
Mhm.
And I came across Cam Newton and Charleston White interview. And it was this particular statement he said that stood out to me. And I felt like I wanted to share that to our audience to really just put it on their hearts to really, it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And I feel like, we all need somebody or we need ourselves.
Mhm.
And it really starts with us.
Mhm.
And so I want to play this video for y'all so y'all can kind of with our lasting thoughts, right? So I gotta climb over here, y'all.
Last words. Got anything to say?
You can't fix the community until you fix what's in the mirror. And I think that's the problem that most black people are trying to have. We overlooking the mirror, the man in the mirror. We overlooking the woman we laying next to. We overlooking the children, only to come outside and try to fix the community. When we need to be making our beds up in the morning when we get up. We need to be dusting the house so that's the problem we having as black people. We trying to fix everybody but us, starting in the mirror. Then when you come out the mirror, nigga, repairing and trying to fix you, you look around at your wife and your kids and in the house and try to fix what's in the house. Then you step out on your porch and say, hey, neighbor, Then you look down the street and see what's wrong with the street. Then you go out into your community, but you don't start from nowhere but the mirror. That's the starting point. And I think that's what we forgetting as black people. I went and fixed me before I came to the internet and started saying what was wrong in the community.
Okay, so so that was something that I felt like was very valuable. He really spoke to me because I did a lot of healing by looking in the mirror. I broke the stigma.
Yeah.
I was able to say, you know what, I am not my ancestors. I am part of my ancestors. It runs deep in my blood, but I'm not that hurt, that curse, that pain, you know? And it really started with me in the mirror. And I had to do some deep healing in order for me to reach out to other people. And it starts in your household. And then it starts with your immediate family. And then it starts in your, you know what I mean? And like your street and in your community. I feel like we be wanting to be that hero so bad and save everybody. And we get burnt out. And that's where the problem starts. We have mental health illness. And then not only mental health, we're embarrassed to tell people that we're going through things. And then it leads to suicide. And so at the bottom of our screen, we have provided a suicide line. And we have numerous resources for you for, and I wouldn't say suicide, but if you having some type of mental health crisis, you can reach out to these, what we have, the Talbert House. Who else we have on there?
The National Suicide and Crisis Hotline, and then NAMI Southwest, which if you go on there, they have it broke down for like Hamilton County, Butler County, but Hamilton County had a whole lot of resources. And I think you can also just dial 988 from your phone. So, but I mean, if anything, like, if you feel, because a lot of people, I think, even that's a stigma. Like, I'm not calling no hotline. Right. Like, they might, they might send the police to my house.
Sometimes that ain't safe,
So, like, I get it. But just my own mental health journey, like I said, if you don't have anybody outside, like, just start what you do have. And for me, it was really just, just look, like you said, looking in the mirror, being really honest with myself, but not like shaming myself, not like being very gentle, but being very honest and just holding myself accountable and saying, okay, these are things that, you may have issues with. What can you do, that will, with like real action that's going to, make you feel differently about these things, because especially if you're a person like me that's creative, it's like, man, I feel like my life is so much bigger than me, but I got these certain things that I'm holding on to, which some of it is just the lessons that we were supposed to learn. So it's like, you don't hold on, you don't need to carry the book with you, just take what you learned, like, just, the knowledge that you gained, but like, you don't have to have like every workbook lesson and stuff with you, like, as you travel, just like really holding yourself accountable, with love and just being grateful. Like, I think that's like one of the major things, just being grateful, just pouring into yourself, whether it's, like you said, journaling, talking to someone. But I love journaling. And when we went to the meeting yesterday, someone talked about video journaling. But I love journaling because I'm able to look back. I have it in black and white. I'm able to look back and see, like, how did I feel at this time, and look at my growth now. I mean, even when you're feeling a certain way, your handwriting might be different. Like, it's so many different
layers.
Layers.
So many layers.
And it really just, you're able, like, to really hold something to see, like, this is where I came from.
Absolutely.
And I think that helps you to move forward.
So how about we do this to end the show?
Yes.
So how about we say something, and if I ain't too, I'm going to play my singing bowl for y'all tonight, right? I'm going to pull it out, right? Because I want to affirm everyone, just ending this show. I feel like that's all we need is to say positive affirmations to ourselves. So before I play my singing bowl, I want you guys to affirm yourself. So what's one thing that you say to yourself in the mirror or say to yourself that makes Mia Mia? It makes Devoe.
I think, let's see, my biggest one is probably it's safe to be my authentic self.
Absolutely. What about you, Devoe?
I would say it's okay to make the mistake and own up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I can say that it's safe to take breaks and rest when it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good.
all right. So we're going to end the show with my singing bowl. And I want you guys to go into a state of mind of like relax. I want you guys to, release your muscles and, not be so tense. I feel like some people are tense right now. Roll them shoulders back. If you got to roll your neck, whatever you need to do to like relax. And then I want you to go into a really happy space, whatever that looks like for you, and I want you to take a couple deep breaths, because breathing is what gets the blood circulating. That's what lifts your spirit, your vibration. So I want you to take a couple deep breaths in and then exhale out. And I'm going to just affirm you guys. If you need somebody, reach out to somebody, not be afraid to not say anything. So I'm going to pay my singing phone, and yeah. And don't judge me, because I'm a little...
Do your thing.
Right. I want you to say to yourself, I am worthy. I am worthy of love. God loves me. I can show up to the world being my authentic self. That I am enough. That regardless of what I go through, I am still going to come out as a winner. I want you guys to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. That today I vow that I am going to put down that burden. I will no longer carry no one else's baggage. That I am free. Because it's my birthright. Ashe.
Period.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So
yes.
We are going to end the show. We thank you guys for coming to the Living Room Conversation.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. Thank you,
Next time.
Devoe, for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yes.
it. And yes, we love you guys.
How can they keep in
Oh,
contact with
absolutely.
you?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, just go to @Devoe Sherman. Again, look me up on Google, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. So
Yes.
it's easy to find me.
Of course. And then
Because
you
I
can...
want to be found.
Oh, do you want to be cat?
Yeah.
Seriously. Do you have any upcoming events or anything?
I actually got a free business mixer coming up on the last Saturday of the month. That's when we're kind of doing them on.
Okay.
4 to 7, where businesses can exchange ideas, come and meet, come and talk, and really just genuinely and organically connect with one another. So
Beautiful.
All right,
Yeah.
so follow him for more details on that, and we will be back next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the Living Room Conversation. Peace out.
Peace.
And Facebook, we'll see you in the after party.